So markets are trading sideways right now. We had some key news events that were happening this week. The biggest one is the FOMC meeting that is happening tomorrow. Probably by the time you're watching this, it is already happening, guys. A 25 BPS rate cut is supposedly already anticipated and is confirmed. And right now, there's a lot of anticipation around a lot of manipulation, talking about the Binance cartel and exactly how liquidity shifts and what everyone is anticipating. I've been talking about on my YouTube channel how deviations are anticipated. I dropped one main video talking about how I believe the markets are going to pump and then they're going to be dumping. This is the pump phase. More than likely, we're going to be seeing a little bit more of this before we start to see a correction, in my opinion. There's a lot of different perspectives from crypto analysts and traders talking about the top 4 Bitcoin and how potentially, we've already seen the run. And a lot of people are still expecting altcoin season to happen. And that's the whole point of my YouTube channel, keeping you guys updated with the day-to-day events and everything. So check out the rest of my content. I keep you updated with the news events, the price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and everything you need to be aware of so that you can understand how to navigate the space. FOMC meeting is going to be happening tomorrow, and a lot of people are getting, kind of screwed over due to the manipulation that happens apparently from the Binance cartel, which we're going to be talking about today. But I want to talk about exactly what to anticipate if you have altcoins, what to be focused on, and not just, this altcoin and this altcoin. Understand how everything is going to be shifting and what you need to know. Let's jump straight into it. So, like how I said, the markets are trading sideways, seeing a little bit of green on the 24-hour. Bitcoin sitting at around 116,000, Ethereum sitting at around 4,500. Altcoins following the price action around Ethereum, and Bitcoin dominant seeing a little bit of a pump up. And this is something that we've been anticipating. The biggest thing, guys, this week, just kicked the camera, is the FOMC decision that is going to be happening tomorrow around the rate cuts. We have been keeping updated with the news events as they've been progressing, not only with inflation data, but also the labor market data and how it has a true effect. This is the important stuff that you need to be aware of, because as you start to learn more about these events and how they have a correlation to price action, you can start to see exactly what's going to be happening before it actually happens. Now, we have been seeing a lot of pumps in the stock markets, which is really great to see, which really pours into the fact that liquidity is about to move into Bitcoin potentially. The probability of a 25 BPS Fed rate cut tomorrow is 96.1% confirmed, apparently from Root Markets and a few other individuals as well. The biggest thing is the data that has been coming out, not only in the last week guys, but also in the previous weeks, all around the labor market and inflation data to let us know what to anticipate. This has investors, really speculating the deviations that were anticipated. Kill XBT keeping us updated on the day-to-day price action around Bitcoin, but there's a lot of anticipation that potentially, guys, this is the top for Bitcoin and that we're going to be seeing a massive dump. A lot of people have been saying this on my channel. I've been covering it from multiple different angles, from whales selling, insiders selling, to, big players like big CEOs making moves with a lot of stock options, showing that they usually start to move money whenever something big is going to be happening. On top of that, where a lot of buys have been happening in the market, and this is super, super important. Bitcoin dominance also on the verge of correcting, which is something we've been keeping up with, but there's still a lot of hope for altcoins like with Crypto Mission now. So biggest thing is watching the price action around Bitcoin and Ethereum to see exactly if we're going to be breaking past that previous all-time high, guys, sitting around 124,000. If we don't break that region, the rejection is going to look nasty. And if we see that rejection, a lot of people are going to be, blindsided by the deviations that are going to be taking place. Ethereum is also starting to deviate, and we talked about with Benjamin Cohen how it reached the new all-time high, and then from there has been slowly dropping down, potentially moving back to the 21-week moving average, and from there we're going to be seeing the actual pump for Ethereum. But right now it's kind of coming into fruition, the deviations that are taking place, even though we've been seeing short-term pumps. Now, the total 3E chart is following the price action around Ethereum. Altcoins have been performing quite well, but at the end of the day, if Ethereum starts to fall, you better expect that altcoins are going to be falling as as well. And Bitcoin dominance is another chart that we've been keeping up with just because it lets us know when altcoin season is going to begin. You can see back in 2018 whenever Bitcoin dominance completely crashed and altcoin season started, and also in 2021 whenever altcoin season started. And now potentially this is where everyone thinks either it's going to automatically begin and Bitcoin dominance is going to be crashing, or it's going to reclaim a few different zones before it actually starts to pump down. That 60% region is that zone that we have been keeping up with. And you can see some of the estimated moving averages kind of line up with exactly what we're discussing. But biggest thing is the data, the news events, and everything that is happening. Not, what's the next best altcoin and this and that. Really, this is the stuff that has an effect on the market and where sentiment is shifting and how investors feel about everything. Biggest thing, guys, is the rate cut decision that's going to be happening. I heard a lot of discussions about a 75 BPS rate cut, 50 BPS rate cut happening, but apparently a 25 BPS Fed rate cut is at a 96.1% chance. So this is super important to anticipate, because if everyone expects a little bit on the higher side, they are also going to be sadly disappointed. So this is super important, basic information. But moving into tomorrow, a lot of people are going to be blindsided by this. We've been seeing a lot of different information around the rate cuts and what everyone is expecting. Also the talks of multiple rate cuts moving into the beginning of 2026. But right now, labor markets are not looking good. CPI, inflation data, everything that has been coming out in this last week hasn't really shown too much of a change. But overall, everyone is, front running exactly what's going to be happening tomorrow. Now, in terms of the price action around Bitcoin, I've been following Killer XBT because he's been pretty accurate on exactly how Bitcoin moves whenever we start the week and as we start to close. And whenever we have important data like the FOMC, information that's going to be coming out tomorrow on the rate cut decisions, and also previously the CPI, inflation data, all that good stuff. That is exactly how you can start to navigate when to short and when to long the market. And I'm going to start jumping deeper into day trading on this channel. But right now, it's more keeping you updated with all these important information because, like I said, a lot of people are going to get blindsided. Now, he was bringing up the Binance cartel, which is something that's pretty interesting, seeing whenever Binance starts to talk about exactly what's going on with Bitcoin and they start to hype everybody up. And it's really because they can actually see all of the price action, the liquidations, the stop losses, the, take profits. There's all different types of zones that everyone is keeping up with. And the more that you have an understanding of where all these things lie, that's whenever you can understand if we're going to be seeing deviations or pumps in the market. Now, the Binance cartel is actually something very interesting, just because if you think about it, Binance is one of the biggest exchanges, one if not the biggest exchange, and as a result, they can really see all of the different moves in the market, how liquidity is shifting, and they can position themselves and also technically manipulate the market in any way that they deem, efficient, just because at the end of the day, they have the most money, they can make the most plays. So going into it with Killer XBT, he talks way more in depth about it, which is something I want you guys to be aware of. He says, I present to you the Binance cartel. They see everything. Trading on some tiny CEX doesn't matter. Every order ultimately flows through the same network. So regardless if you're, on a small trading platform like how I am, as opposed to the big trading platforms, they see every order ultimately that flows through the same network, which they, have control over, of Binance linked market makers, giving them a clear view of virtually every major position in the market. Binance operates at giga scale with aggregated visibility across order book depth, liquidity pools, and synthetic derivatives exposure. Every meaningful position is mapped, delta and gamma footprints traced, implied volatility surfaces monitored, and every cluster of leverage plus funding rate arbitrage. To them, the market is fully transparent and infinitely exploitable. They sit at the top of the food chain. They are seeing not just price, but the full positioning across spot, futures, options, and perpetual contracts. Order flow, liquidity vacuums, stop loss walls, margin call cascades, and gamma squeezes. With this insight, they do not merely participate, they orchestrate. They engineer pining dynamics, force liquidations through convexity exposure, manipulate skew to induce hedging flows, and exploit funding asymmetries. Every move they make is max pain. To them, volatility is not chaos, but a tool weaponized to extract capital from the many and funnel it into the hands of the few. Binance, the truth is almost philosophical. Markets are not mechanisms of fairness, but a predation. Every retail trade is a data point in a large algorithm of extraction. The majority are not players, they are the product. The Binance cartel is real. And this is literally what we've been talking about, how the manipulation in the market is going to look very, very crazy. And the individuals that are not focused on the actual key data that has an effect on the market, how liquidity is shifting, and then also key stuff like this are going to be blindsided. And whenever we see the deviations, the massive correction, more than likely a lot of people are going to sell out and miss altcoin season whenever a lot of people are going to generate a ton of revenue. Now, getting more into exactly, realistic talks about exactly the price action and liquidations that have been taking place, Dr. Profit has been someone that has been keeping us updated with all his perspectives around the bearish take. And honestly, it really just makes sense based off of open interest, how the price action around Bitcoin has been looking, and overall where a lot of people entered their positions, especially once Bitcoin broke 100,000. It's really a psychological standpoint in terms of where we are with Bitcoin and what's next. He honestly hasn't even dropped another update since yesterday because he's honestly expecting what's going to be happening with the FOMC. A lot of people are expecting a pump, which also he, expects potentially a pump to happen. But a lot of people are, really bullish on something that they shouldn't be quite bullish on, really due to the fact that all these red flags and indicators are pointing to a dip. Now, Benjamin Cohen has been telling us that Bitcoin dominance is going to be coming back up in September, moving into October, and we have seen it in previous cycles and also from a year-to-year standpoint. So if this is the case, liquidity is going to shift back out of Ethereum and altcoins and back into Bitcoin, and that's whenever I'm going to be buying altcoins exponentially. CryptoCon gave his perspective on why he thinks this is the top for Bitcoin. I'm not going to go back all up into it. I dropped two videos yesterday talking about this, which is really great. I'll drop a whole nother video talking about the top for Bitcoin and why many people are talking about it. But overall, he has also exited the market. Crypto Mitch now is someone that is super bullish on altcoins, like most crypto influencers and Coles. He says so many altcoins are eager to have their big breakout. It's finally that time. Not sure whether we'll have a final sweep first. Yes, spoiler alert, we are going to have a final sweep first. But things are looking great on the larger time frames. Just absolutely fantastic. This is where a lot of people are saying that, everyone is just going against the curve and is believing in something that truly isn't there. But I really still think that altcoin season is going to be happening. Markets are trading sideways right now, seeing a little bit of green. Everyone's front running, expecting a lot of volatility tomorrow when the FOMC decision is going to be happening. More than likely, by the time you're watching this video, you're already seeing the decision in the works, or honestly it's already happening and you're seeing all the volatility. By then I'm going to be dropping a market update to let you know exactly what's going to be happening and what I'm anticipating moving into the end of the week. My altcoin portfolio is trading sideways right now, just waiting to see exactly what's going to be happening with the Fed decision and to see if these coins are going to be rallying or if they're still going to be trading sideways. But that's pretty much the basic and important information, guys. Right now you need to be keeping up with the key news events that happen on a week-to-week basis. Altcoin season is on the verge of happening. We've been waiting 4 years for altcoins to actually get the liquidity that they need to initiate altcoin season. But if you aren't keeping up with all this information, you're going to get blindsided. Most crypto influencers and Coles are telling you need to buy this altcoin right now and this is the best play, and if you're not doing this you're gonna get wrecked, and if not you need to sell everything right now. And I try to give you the consensus, give you exactly what is taking place in the market, and so that you can do what you will with that information. Me, what am I doing? I'm holding my altcoin portfolio right now. I'm expecting crazy volatility in the market. I'm not allocating to the market because I'm waiting for more data to come out, wait for that Fed rate cut decision, see how everybody feels after it happens, because everyone's throwing all their money into the market, and then from there I might start to allocate. Am I selling anything? No, because I'm gonna ride the wave. I'm not someone that's planning on buying and selling and buying and selling and buying and selling, and you shouldn't be one of those people either, especially if you haven't been here for multiple cycles. Once you do that, yes, you can do whatever the hell you want, but at the very beginning you need to understand how liquidity moves and understand what moves the market, and on this channel that's exactly what we do. So guys, if you're new to my channel, check out the rest of my content. I keep you updated on the daily, day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and everything you need to be aware of. Super crazy times. Altcoin season is on the verge, but a correction more than likely is going to be taking place, and a lot of people are not expecting it. And whenever it takes place and we see the massive correction, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be dropping those videos, and I hope that you don't gravitate towards all the influencers and Coles that just tell you what you want to hear. Actually learn something, actually progress, and maybe from there you can actually start to make a change and progress much faster in the markets. All right, I'm going to drop day-to-day content every day, so stay tuned. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one, and do not capitulate your bags. Worst thing you can do. Expect volatility tomorrow. More likely, probably going to be better to short at the beginning and then long super hard. We'll see. Peace.